Alrighty then, it looks like we're on to the next Psyop. The media is gearing us up for a full-scale attack and destruction of the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant, which, last I checked, is the largest nuclear power plant in all of Europe. But before I get to that, I want to address the Psyop theory of the Prigozhin putsch once again. I was entertaining the Psyop theory on Friday. I was waiting things out to see how things went. And by Saturday, as those of you who follow my channel know, I had completely abandoned the Psyop theory, and I was fully convinced that whatever was going on, Prigozhin was, at the very least, I don't think that he was acting in concert with Putin and the Russian government. But many people, and I think actually increasingly, people are adopting the Psyop theory of the Prigozhin putsch, especially after the sweetheart deal, which Putin offered, to which Prigozhin accepted, which entails exiling Prigozhin and, it would seem, much of Wagner as well, to Belarus, where they will, quote, I think his exact words were, continue our operations. And so this has made a lot of people think that this was just a psyop. If it was a psyop, I have no idea what the purpose was, because this does not make Putin look good. This does not make Russia look good. It undermines, as I've said over and over, and this is why I don't want to belabor the point, it undermines Russia's stability. It makes Russia look unstable. And it makes Putin look weak when you have someone who, as far as the public is concerned, and everyone around the world, the official story is that Prigozhin launched an insurrection. He led an army of 25,000 men to the gates of Moscow. And for this very severe crime, which got, I don't know how many men killed, perhaps as many as 20, because I think at least the one plane that they shot down, I've heard, had about 10 men on board, and then you've got all the other men who are on the helicopters. I think they shot down 6 helicopters, is the latest count. These are serious crimes, and Prigozhin and all of his fellow Confederates are walking free. And you might say that this was the best case scenario, and that this was the the right move by Putin given the circumstances. But you can't argue that this overall makes him look better. This is. So to me, I'm maintaining this was not a psyop. I don't know what it was, but it doesn't appear to be a psyop. And if it was a psyop, things didn't go as planned. I don't think that in a psyop you would be shooting down your own planes and helicopters and killing your own airmen. So that's all I'll say on it for now. That's until we get more information. And so today, like the rest of the media, I will be moving on to the issue of Zaporizhzhia. We are hearing more and more about how Russia is poised to blow up the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant. And now we have Lindsey Graham, along with Richard, better known as Dick Blumenthal of Connecticut, proposing a bill which would legally bind the United States military to intervene in the case of Russia blowing up any Ukrainian nuclear power plants, and we're told, oh, this is to deter Russia, when in reality what they would be doing is baiting Ukraine into blowing up their own nuclear power plants in order to get America into the war. We would have the Syrian gas attacks all over again, but on a much worse scale, because we would have the Syrian gas attacks meets Chernobyl. We would have a nuclear disaster on our hands that would affect much of Europe. And if all that wasn't absurd enough, the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant that we're being told Russia is going to blow up has been under Russian control since March of 2022, and the electricity generated there is supplying Russian-controlled parts of Ukraine. So Russia has every motivation, now that they've captured this nuclear power plant, to protect it. That is what they want. They want to continue producing power for their side. It would be the Ukrainians, on the other hand, who have every incentive to attack this power plant, try and recapture it. And if they can't do that, it would be in their best interest to stage a false flag, blow it up, and make it look like Russia did it, so that the U.S. then is forced to intervene on Ukraine's behalf in the war, and it becomes a Russo-American war rather than a Russo-Ukrainian war. Ukraine would just be the theater, but the battles would be fought by America. Now, we've seen drafts of this same script before, back at the start of the war, when Russia initially seized the power plant. I was, like with the rest of the media, I was somewhat concerned about a battle being fought over a nuclear power plant. But, in the end, Russia captured it. They did not do anything reckless. They did not, risk blowing the thing up. But ever since then, it started then, we've been hearing about, how Russia's going to blow up this power plant. When that would only hurt them. It is theirs now. It's their asset. You fight a war of conquest to take things, not to destroy things. You destroy things, in a democratic war, ideological wars. Those are wars of destruction. Old wars, old-timey wars from before the French Revolution were fought to capture resources. And so if they're able to pass some kind of bill in Congress, which I don't think it would be that hard, it seems like the kind of thing that Congress loves to pass, I would expect a Ukrainian attack, a Ukrainian false flag attack on the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant to come pretty quick. And of course it would be a CIA op, it wouldn't be an actual Ukrainian op. They would not be the ones leading it. They might not even be able to pull it off. At least not in a way that is halfway convincing. And so it seems that now that the U.S. has committed everything except for ground troops, now that they've crossed the F-16 Rubicon, we are one step away from World War III. And no, it's not going to be Russia who starts it. Anyone who tells you Russia wants to start World War III is either stupid or they're just programmed. I don't know how else to say it. They call it television programming for a reason. It is the American military-industrial complex that is dying to get more involved in this war, that wants to commit more resources to this war. And so Russia, on the other hand, is struggling, even at this point, to fight the war. We did not have a swift victory for Russia. This is slow. This is suboptimal. Russia does not want to have more people to fight. They want less. That's why they're killing the Ukrainian soldiers, because their goal is for there to be less enemy soldiers, not more. By drawing the U.S. into the war, Russia understands that they would have to fight more people. This is basic common sense. So by thinking ahead through these scenarios ahead of time, we will be less likely to fall victim to the psyops ourselves. And the quicker you snap out of the psyop and you break the conditioning, the quicker you will be able to start trying to help your friends through this, so that the public, which I think already instinctively understands that we should not be involved in Ukraine, the better you can try and help them maintain their resolve. So, with that said, I will see you folks back here tomorrow.